Yo, yo, yo. Fucking hell. What we got here then? Spiritual enlightenment. What the fuck does this mean? Spiritual enlightenment. Well, listen, I'll tell you what. Listen, I'll tell you here. I don't know why I've decided to go for this one so early, because this is the top subject. I just thought, fuck it, I'm gonna have a first go at it. Do you know what I mean? Fuck it. Listen, I wanna give you a little side tangent first, right? A bit more about me. When I say spiritual enlightenment, now listen up, right? Before a couple of years, and I'm talking like 2 or 3 years ago, right? I don't know what. Now listen, I'm at this point in time, I'm 43 and a half years old, right? So for the first like 41 years, say, I don't know what the word spiritual meant. When they said spiritual, I thought they meant like religious now. So when I'm in this video here, we're not talking about religious subjects. It might pop up here and there, but we ain't talking about religion. Now, see, when I was growing up, and I thought spiritual meant like religion and like spirits and ghosts and that. Well, listen, it's nothing to do with none of that. But what I'm going to try to explain to you now is way more weird than anything like that, right? I'm telling you, it's much more weird than anything like that. Right, well, listen, right. So where will I start with this shit? Let me tell you something first, yeah. This video, yeah, is not for the masses at all. Now, I know all my videos I'm a little bit weird anyway, yeah. Weird in general. I don't care. Got a little spot here. And you all know what I'm going to say next about the little spot down there. I don't give a fuck, man. So, as per normal, I don't give a fuck, right? So listen. Anyway, so this topic here, babbling on there, this topic ain't even started on the topic here. It's that big, this topic is, and that important. I don't really know where to start, obviously. I got some notes here. Got some notes and that, but this topic, listen, right. Spiritual enlightenment, right? Basically, what we're talking about is like a truth, yeah? A truth of a capital T, the truth, right? Basically. And we're talking about something here now. First of all, let me make this claim here. I'm not spiritually enlightened, right? Now, I've had some mystical experiences, let's say, yeah, some samadhi experiences and that, yeah. So I kind of know what I'm talking about a little bit, and obviously I've done a lot of theory on it, you know what I mean. But to get an enlightenment, it ain't theory. It's not a logical thing. It's an emotional game, right? It's not a logical, rational game. It's not like that, right? So basically, yeah, I think there's a lot of us who have got little bits of, but little slight glimpses of enlightenment, so to speak. Yeah. So, but 99.999% unenlightened. That's what we all are, right? Apart from like it's estimated about 10,000 people in the world. What I mean, like, I ain't sure if that's enlightened now or throughout history, but I think what I'm saying is like 10,000 there to like 7 billion. So what's this thing flashing already for? What the fuck now? Anyway, so this is like a highly nuanced topic here. This ain't for the mainstream whatsoever, right? So really this video is for like 500 years in the future, but we're gonna have a little blast at it right now. So what am I talking about? If we're not talking about religion, we're not talking about ghosts and spirits, what the fuck are we talking about? Right, basically in a nutshell, we're talking about the illusion of the self. Right, what does that mean? Now listen, let me just explain this. Like I say, I'm not enlightened. I'm only going here off concepts and theory, right, and books and videos and whatever, right? Tiny little bit of empirical evidence, which means I've experienced a little tiny few touches myself, but minor stuff. Like I would say, like on a scale of 10 million, like 10 million's like fucking Yoda, right? Enlightened, fuck yeah. Get the X-Wing fighter out the fucking swamp and that, yeah. say if Yoda's 10 million, I would say I'm at a level 3 or 4. Yeah, not 3 or 4,000 or 3 or 4 million. Level 3 or 4. It's 10 million. That's how high. That's how high it is. Because, like I said, it's creepier and weirder than ghosts and spirits and anything what I imagined spirituality to be when I was growing up. It's much more weirder than that, right? So, what am I on about when we say the illusion of the self? Well, right. There's a lot of different words what come into the thing here, like awakening and samadhi, satori, you know, heightened consciousness, awareness, mindfulness. I'm just having a look at my little list here. There's loads from self-transcendence, you know, all these kinds of stuff. So, right, what am I talking about here? This is, like I said at the beginning of the video, yeah, this is heavy gauge material here. I mean, I should have said this at the very beginning, like I do on some others, but to save you any more time, basically, if you ain't ready to be unplugged from the matrix, so to speak, if you ain't ready to go down our rabbit hole, just switch the video off, because you just ain't gonna be interested in none of this. It ain't gonna make sense, right? You need to have a little bit of interest or some kind of evidence already for you to carry on with it, or you might just like hearing me talking shit. That's cool. There's a few YouTube teachers what I watch and listen to what are super low conscious, but I just love watching them because they make me laugh, you know what I mean? And I get a little bit of low conscious information inside the matrix stuff, so to speak, right? This stuff here we're talking is unplugged outside the matrix stuff we're talking there. This is the real stuff, right? But like I say, never comes up in the mainstream, never comes up in the popular, you know, in the popular stuff what's on the TV or on the fucking, you ain't gonna see none of this in the mainstream at all. It's the most, like I said, yeah, it's the highest subject I could possibly talk about. Why I'm doing it now, I've got no fucking idea, but fuck it, I'll just go for the big one and go for the whale, right? So anyway, right, so what we're talking about here, enlightenment. Now, you might have heard, well, you're definitely going to hear me say this in all the videos, a non-duality, right? Creepy ass shit like that. Basically, best thing at this point, if you're new to this year, best thing to think about non-duality at this stage here is to think, I was talking about when it's unplugged, or is being unplugged from the matrix. Yeah, that's the best way to think about it as a newbie. I think it's just like, oh, it's when Neo's been unplugged from the matrix, yeah, and he's seen reality for what it is for the first time. Yeah, so anything else, so on that account, anything else when we ain't talking about non-duality, you may as well say we're talking inside the matrix, which is going to be 99.9999% of everything. All your conversations, all your entertainment, all your thinking, all your theories, all your philosophies is going to be 99.999% dualistic, which means it ain't going to be non-duality. So let me just run it again so it's clear. Dualistic is the mainstream everyday life. I run my own life dualistically, right? 99.999, right? We'll call that inside the matrix, or operating inside of the matrix, just as a metaphor, right? Just to start with, right? I think it would be easy for the thick fuckers to understand it like that, right? And then the non-dual stuff, non-duality, which means it's not two. Non-duality means it's not dual, it's not two, it's one. That means, right, we'll go into this later perhaps, and on the videos, and you can, as normal, go and do your own homework, go and do your own push-ups, as Jim Rohn would say. Right, so where are we going with all this, right? So let's just kick straight into it. Enlightenment. What the fuck is this bald fuck with the sunglasses on about now? Right then, so basically what I'm talking about is yogis, mystics, gurus, saints even, right? Now, you know, could probably start to get my personality now on religious stuff and that. Yeah, I ain't really down with it yet, but I've looked at it a little bit later on in life just to understand the fuck these are all on about. All these crazy followers following all these religious traditions and everything. So I had to delve into it a little bit, each one really. Right, not more than if anything, I've probably looked into the Buddhist tradition more than anything. But I ain't got a bias towards none of them. And like I said on other videos, I'll say it again. If I had to pick one, I was forced to, probably would pick the Buddhist tradition. Well, anyway, that's going off topic a bit. Right, so what we're talking about, non-duality, right? So when I said what kind of people are enlightened, like I just rolled off a little list here. Mystics, yogis, gurus, stuff like this, Zen masters, you know, stuff like this. Right. If we're gonna call like hypothetically, metaphorically, Yoda as the top tier enlightened master, 10 million, we can start just as a gauge, right? Just as a gauge, right? And then you could so 10 million is a big number. I mean, that's a bit of a big number. We should do it. We should do it a little bit small scale down. Now we've got it really is like the difference in consciousness between an unenlightened, unconscious person and an enlightened to fuck conscious person. Really is the difference between like 3, 4, or 5 or so. If I do it like this, it's easier to understand. Let's say I've done loads of enlightenment work and I've gone past stage 3 and 4. Let's say I'm stage 12. Because then there'll be no confusion in a mathematics then, right? Are you listening? Clear your mind. Let's say I've gone past stage 3. You lot are all probably on stage 2 or 1 or something ridiculous. Let's say you're all on stage 2, right? Well, because I've been doing weird work, I've gone past stage 3, I've gone all the way up to 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Stage 12, yeah. Out of 10 fucking million. Do you start to get what I'm saying there about the levels of consciousness, what we're talking about now? Right? Think about what I'm saying now. Listen, the stuff I'm going to say next, I've got some outrageous claims. I mean, the stuff I've already said on this video is quite outrageous, right? Now you could say, oh, it looks like Baldy has been taking too many drugs or psychedelics or been smoking too much weed or he's been doing something or another. No, I've got all this off the top. Whenever I keep talking about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, yeah, I've got this off the top of the pyramid, yeah, off the self-transcendence part. I think it's stage 6, level 6, whatever it is, right? I've got this from the top teachers, top tier teachings, you understand, right? Ain't just making this up, ain't just had a trip the weekend and just imagined all this. No, this is 10,000 hour study, right? 10,000 hours. I ain't studied it for that long, but you know what I mean, right? Quite a few hours gone into it, yeah. Now, what's the point in it all, right? So, what would you could say, well, what's the benefits of this spiritual enlightenment? Oh boy. Right, well, number 1, yeah. Let's say you like, I don't know, one of these gurus, or let's say Jesus, right? Let's say Jesus. Now, we're going to keep the 10 million scale. Yoda's 10 million, so where would we put Jesus? Well, Jesus, in my estimation, couldn't lift X-Wing fighters out of swamps in the Dagobah system, right? So I'd put Jesus, but nonetheless, big in the game, enlightened to fuck. So if Yoda's 10 million and he's lifting swamps and he's making stones, go up in there, he's training Luke's car. Listen, I'll put Jesus roughly 10,000. 10,000, right? Go and look up a dude with a turban on, an Indian dude called Sadhguru. He's my number 1 teacher. Go and look, sorry, it was my number 2 teacher. Go and look him up. I would say Sadhguru, yeah. If Jesus is 10,000, and I ain't never read the Bible. I don't know much about Jesus. So super rough, just a rough scale barometer metaphor, right? Analogy thing, right? If Yoda, right, is in the enlightened one we know, the one, right? Let's say on the scale is 10 million, let's roughly put Jesus 10,000. I'll put this dude, Sadhguru, you can go and actually look up, because I know videos on YouTube of Jesus, obviously. So you can go and look up this dude, Sadhguru. He's got thousands of different videos on YouTube. He does cover the same stuff quite a bit, but his message is super deep, and you can ponder over his videos for months, just over one couple of sentences. I'd put this guy, Sadhguru, I don't know, the same as Jesus, or say Jesus is 10,000, say the same as Jesus, or Sadhguru is 5,000 or 15,000. I don't know. I never flexed with Jesus, do you know what I mean? Take like me and Jesus went to IB for that, do you know what I'm saying? But with Sadhguru, obviously you can see the videos directly from the horse's mouth, not through disciples and Matthew and all the backstabbers and the Roman, what's his name, Pontius Pilate, whatever his name. No, forget all that. Go and watch this guy talk, Sadhguru. He's a guru, mystic from India, right? Go and watch him spit on YouTube, and then come back after you've watched a few hundred hours of that, yeah. And then you can gauge him against Yoda, but obviously we can gauge Jesus because we've got so many stories about him, and you lot on here probably know more stories about Jesus than me. Well, I know Jesus was enlightened to fuck. There's no ifs or buts about it. Big in the game, perhaps not Paul Daniels, magic tricks, and not like Yoda getting the X-Wing fighter out of the swamp, but big in the game. Big with especially its spitting lyrics, always big. So I would say enlightened, fuck, seeing reality in a different way, that and you know, his cognitive, what would you call it, his belief system, or his knowledge graph, or his whatever you want to call it, his perception of reality, I would say was enlightened. We'll call it enlightened, or we'll call it a high grade perception of reality, right? If my man can basically sift through the bullshit, all the bullshit, all the ego bullshit, right? Basically, because this is what spiritual enlightenment entails. Basically, it means a destruction of the ego, complete ego annihilation. If you're fully enlightened, yeah, that's a different story. Like over here, we're going to be doing shadow work to dissolve the ego down, but we're going to be doing other personal development work to build the ego up into self-esteem work and whatever, yeah, self-respect, self-efficacy, stuff like that. We're going to be working on that. So I'm going to be sounding contradictory at times, yeah, but you've got to remember, sometimes we're going to be working inside the matrix, and another time we're going to be working outside the matrix in a real reality, right? So where am I going with all this, right? So what a ramble, man. So basically what I'm talking about, yeah, is I'm talking about a state of walking around in an unperturbed state. It means you ain't got this ego where you're bothered about what people are thinking, what people are saying about you, what people are writing messages about you on your fucking message board, or in your inbox, or your fucking comment section, whatever it is, yeah. All that's gone, yeah. So you're walking around in some Jedi unperturbed state, yeah. So it's that kind of thing, yeah. When we're talking about self-transcendence, yeah, and the illusion of the self, when we're saying self, we ain't on about the physical bodies so much. I'm talking about the self-image, right? The ego, basically, right? So that's what we're on about getting rid of, yeah, and walking around seeing things in a different perception, right? Instead of going around thinking these negative thoughts, oh, he's just looked at my shoes, he mustn't like my shoes. When we're walking around thinking, I don't give a fuck about my shoes as long as they ain't got too many holes in. Them better than sandals or them better than flip flops or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so what I'm talking about now, yeah, is like basically the truth of a capital T. So what's this mean? Truth of a capital T, right? You gotta go and do a lot of work on this yourself before you can get the gist of what I'm on about, obviously, right? Like I said, I should have said at the beginning of the video, don't bother watching this unless you're ready for some real fucking red pill rabbit hole shit, you know what I'm saying? Right, so basically, it's a concept, like spiritual enlightenment is a concept of, you could call it like, in the, they've got this, you can look this on YouTube. I wanted to go and find this as your homework assignment. I wanted to go type in on YouTube, or you ain't even got to type, you ain't even got to use your fingers. You might have broken your fingers, I never know. So you can just ask the Google girl, right? Google girl, and then ask her, what is the Orooboros, right? And then a little picture will come up of like a snake eating its own tail, right? Basically, and then you gotta look up some other stuff on Google as well. Yeah, like there's I forgot the name of the guy name. It's not Escher, the drawer. Might be him. I'm not sure. Basically, you got these drawings. Yeah, I'm gonna post some things in my description. Yeah, some pictures on YouTube or whatever it is, or Google. Right, you got these drawings of like an eyeball, like a picture space with like a cone coming out of an eyeball. So like the eyeballs looking on itself. Basically, it means the same thing as this Orooboros, Orooboros snake. I can't remember what it's called exactly. I should have written this down. I should have done a little bit more research. But if you say to Google girl, Google what is the Orooboros. I'm sure it's Orooboros. Basically, if I've got the word right, it'll come up like a snake eating its own tail, man. Now, what it actually means is this is one of the first diagrams or pictures in civilization. Now, I ain't on about caveman paintings. This has actually got it's got meaning to it. This ain't just a picture of an animal, no, because we don't know animals or eat their own tails, so to speak. I mean, I know dog chases its own tail every now and again, but it don't really sit there gnawing it and trying to swallow his own tail, does it? Now, what it actually means, yeah, it's like I say, it's one of the oldest Sanskrit things what we've got. I think it's the actual oldest thing. It ain't the oldest drawing, because like I say, the cave paintings are the oldest thing. It's the oldest, I think it's like a Sanskrit diagram or some tablet thing or something, I don't know, right? But basically what it means is, it stands for all is one, right? So when I keep rambling on about non-duality, yeah, well, I'm going to do a whole video on non-duality, obviously, once I've, that, with me, non-duality, it links up with my physics teacher, because I've done a lot of physics as well, yeah. Done it all, just not even been to no university or nothing, I've done it myself on the internet, right? On YouTube and what have you. So, with me, it ties up with quantum mechanics and that, because I had an hard time, yeah, with the physics. Like, first of all, I've done nuclear physics, I was cool with that, and then astrophysics, I was cool with that. And then when I started getting to particle physics, started getting a bit tricky. And then obviously that led me down the road of quantum mechanics. That blew my head, and I wrestled with that for a few years. This was a decade ago, something like that. I can't remember. A long time ago, but I never really fucking got my head around it. It blew my mind. I got to the point where I got to the double slit experiment. That's where I got to. And basically, as soon as I started this non-dual studies a couple of years ago, I went back over the quantum mechanics, just fucking around one day, just having a quick summarise of what I'd learned and what I hadn't learned, and just fucking just bored, got nothing to do probably. So like after I've looked at the non-duality stuff, I'm just trying to be open-minded because that's what my teachers keep saying to me, like, be open-minded. Else nothing's gonna fucking wash, right? So I'm just trying to think, let's just roll with this for a bit. So I'm having a little roll around with this non-duality first. And then I'll take a little break off that, go on to something else, do some other stuff, and I'll go on all day, and then I come back. I started looking at the quantum mechanics again, just no major fucking, not major reason why. And then all of a sudden, it's all, what I couldn't understand before with quantum mechanics, with double split experiments, and that, all clicked into place because of this non-dual knowledge I had in my head. And you've got to go and watch some videos about the double slit experiment. If you understand what I'm saying, it'll blow your head because you ain't done the non-dual studies, right? It's like in physics, yeah. Come to this super paradoxical thing, yeah. The whole scientific community, it's ain't just a few weird ones, the whole scientific community, they've got it like this, right? They come to this problem in physics, yeah, where no matter whether the experiment's been done by a machine or a person, as long as there's an observer, right, the particles in this experiment are now to one thing, yeah. And if there ain't an observer, they're just something totally different. Even if the observer is a human or a computer like a camera. So then that tells you what's going on, the way the universe is consciousness looking at itself. Do you understand? Right? So obviously you've got to tie a lot of things in before you get to this one here. But this is what went ding, and it went ting like that, and like I had thousands of dots all connected. I wasn't even on drugs or no psychedelics or nothing like that. It was just like, you know, it was just a random thing. Right, so all of a sudden, I kind of like cracked all my fucking stuff what had held me up with quantum mechanics just in a flash because of this non-dual stuff, right? Now, like I said, I ain't enlightened. We're an enlightenment's basically an insight, right? Now, this is what I had was an insight, but it weren't enlightenment. You understand what I'm saying? Just connected a few dots. Enlightenment, full awakening, is you walking around like Bruce Lee. You know what I'm saying? You're walking around like Bruce Lee, unperturbed, complete emotional mastery. No more bitching around, gossiping and being an idiot. Nah, I don't know. All that's done with you, right? But you ain't sitting there. You ain't necessarily sitting there like a monk either. Right, you're doing your normal stuff in your normal life now, but you ain't thinking all the time. Say that to people, what it is, yeah. Problem, what we've got, especially in the West, right, is we think too much, right? We think all the time, and humans, it ain't supposed to be thinking all the time. Human beings are supposed to be being, not just sitting there thinking about the future, thinking about the past, even thinking about the present. Just being present in the present without thinking about the present, especially the future and the past, right? Being present to the moment, in the now, as my main man would say, right? Then you get to a different thing. So I'll tell you a quick secret, right? How to get to this enlightenment, how to start off on the scale, yeah? Go and meditate, right? You're going to hear me say this over and over again in the videos. You've got to be meditating if you're over here watching my stuff, learning this stuff and going down this personal development path on the hero's journey, right? So you've got to be meditating at least 10 or 20 minutes a day, right? If you ain't doing that, you ain't shit, right? I'll tell you that straight, any of you, right? Now, unless you're already enlightened somehow and you don't need to meditate, well, salute, but go and meditate, right? And what'll happen is, when you meditate, I'm going to have to do a part 2 on this video. Kong says I was going to do a part 2, I think, I don't know yet. Basically, I want you to go and meditate for 20 minutes. Good for your time. I ain't saying nothing's going to happen in the first week or something. After a couple of months with me, I don't know if it's just me, yeah, I started experiencing all this weird shit, yeah. And basically, what put me on the track to say, there could be something to all these spiritual teachings. The evidence, what I've got, empirical evidence, right, which means evidence, first-hand knowledge, which means there's no hearsay. It ain't come through another blabberman, through some other person. It's some of experience, right? When I'm doing some meditation, right, if I can actually get rid of all the thoughts, you ain't gonna get rid of all your thoughts, but once you're meditating a bit, a couple of weeks, couple of months, whatever it is, the thought, the impulsive thought bombardment slows down a bit, right, and it starts getting really slow, right, and then, oh shit, I'm getting distracted here by all messages and I forgot to put my shit on flight mode, man, flight mode. So basically, where was I? Yeah, when you're in a meditation, right, and all the thoughts, I'm gonna look this way because I'm getting that many messages distracting me, coming up at the top of the screen, right? So basically, when you're meditating and you actually gain a bit of traction with it, I'll just stop now, not cases. Anyway, I'll start it again. So anyway, when you're meditating and so this is what I gotta learn with this public speaking thing. I gotta learn the distractions. I get distracted easy and it throws me off and I forget what I'm saying. Right, meditation. Once you start getting somewhere and you start getting a bit of traction, what happens is the thought process slows down and the thoughts start slowing down, and then you start realising how sporadic and unconnected to anything the thoughts are coming up, and then it'll slow down to such a pace that the thoughts what come up slowly, right, and that random and outrageously absurd, you realise that you've got no control over your thoughts whatsoever. They're coming from somewhere else, right? So basically, what I'm saying is here, because like in our first meditation stuff, what we're going to go into over here, we're basically going to be the observer, right? Just observing the thoughts, like somebody in the background, just sitting there watching the crazy thought trains going through. Right, that's what we're going to be doing at first, yeah. But I don't know how long this video. I wish these people get the fuck off my fucking message thing. There's people just messaging all the time. Anyway, I don't know how long this video is going to go on for, because I have took some videos off, so I'll just carry on going fucking freestyle as a man. So basically, yeah, I'm going to look this way because these people what just send hundreds of texts. The car just like send everything in one text. They've got to send 30 texts. The fuck, someone's going to look this way. It's distracting me bad. I feel like punching the phone up. It's joking, man. Anyway, so where was we at with this meditation? Like, yeah, with the thought, the compulsive thought things, yeah. Basically, what's going on is, yeah, you start to see the first bits of evidence, yeah, that